The following moments may contain explicit language.
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Alice Redpill, and it is a Red Pill conversation for everybody who is here for the paranormal stuff, and you don't really care for the conspiracy stuff. Maybe this episode isn't for you. Maybe it is. I don't know. I decided a long time ago that I wasn't gonna try and wake people up anymore to the things that are going on around you. We do talk a bit about COVID and um, we get into some things about strange things about people in Hollywood towards the end, which we are gonna come back together for another episode. Alice has a lot of knowledge. We talked a lot about Candace Owens, talked about RFK. Um, but yeah, man, it was a fun conversation. We talked for 2 hours. Could have talked for two more. Really enjoyed enjoyed having her on, and I look forward to having her on again and more conversations with her. Definitely an enlightened person for sure. She's fantastic. She's speaks well. She speaks with a purpose, and that's what I enjoy because I don't. I have a hard time speaking with purpose. I don't know if you got. I don't understand how anybody listens to me anymore, just because I say a lot of words that don't really say anything. I'll start. I'll start on a tangent. It's funny because I start just like I just did right there. I'll start saying a sentence and I'll stop in the middle of it because my brain's like, "Wait, this is not how we want to start say this sentence." um, it's actually starting to annoy me a little bit, especially when I try to do clips and stuff, and I pick up on it and I see it and shit more. Um, yeah, I don't know how to fix that. Maybe I'll work on it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, with today's discussion, if you get offended, then you get offended. It wasn't the intention is not there to offend somebody. I know somebody will be. It's just the way the world works. So, with that being said, shout out to Flavors of the Forest, raw garlic dust, bro. This shit, I put it on everything. It tastes good. It's better than anything you're gonna get at the store. I promise you. Go check it out. Flavorsforest.com. That's where you can get the shit. And follow them at Flavors Forest on Instagram. Phenomenal dudes. Love them to death. Glad to be working with them and promoting their stuff, especially since it's something that I enjoy. Um, Yeah, and if you're experiencing any kind of mental distress, just know you can dial 988 here in the United States. Um, they're equipped to assist with any kind of mental issue that you are facing. It is the suicide prevention hotline, but they're there for you regardless. So, my daughter um has a really good friend and her mother chose to take this route. And my daughter and her friend's mother were really close. Wicked nice lady. And you hear this all the time too. You never see it coming. It's always the ones that seem the happiest, you know? So, just know when you do when you decide to do something like this, you're leaving a huge hole and you're just transferring trauma to somebody else. So, please get the help you need. If you need to reach out to talk to me, I can be there for you. So, but I'm gonna end this intro. The baby's crying. I'm gonna go upstairs and hang out with the babes. So, all right. I love you guys. I'm super grateful that you continue watching, supporting, listening, all that stuff. It means a lot to me. It really does. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation with Alice Redpill. Go check her out, Alice Redpill 12 on Instagram. All right.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
Deplorable Janet here from the Deplorable Nation podcast. You are listening to Where the Weird Ones Are with the amazing Kevin. So stay tuned in for every show for all the weird and wonderful.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. So happy to have you here. I hope you had a good week up until today. Well, I still hope your week is still going well, anyways. I will say that. But today I have Alice Redpill. I found her on Instagram. First of all, I heard her on Paranoid Radio. Shout out Troubles Garcia. Amazing dude. Was on his show not too long ago. So, Alice, if you don't mind letting the two people that listen to the show know a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hey, what's up, guys? What an introduction. I like that. And I'm sure there's more than two people. Let's give it up. But
Yes, there
I
is.
am Alice Redpill. Currently, guys, though, my account has been hacked into. Somebody was trying to buy Bitcoin or whatever. So
Oh,
I have
shit.
another account. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? So I have another account. We'll link that later. But I'm a stay-at-home mama of two beautiful children. I have a son who is 14 years old, a daughter who is 5. Just raising kids, realizing back in 2020, once Trump got elected, that's kind of really what opened my eyes. And then the whole Pizzagate thing. I never was really a conspiracy kind of girl before, but I was like, whoa, wait, what's this? So kind of fell into the rabbit hole, and I just was like, let's go. Let's just do this. I think a lot of people need to understand what we're dealing with. It's really dark. It goes really deep. We think who's running the place is running the place and they're not. So I don't know, I just kind of got into it, and then weather modification, I really got into that a lot and just researching things like that. And then I was like, I need a page because I am awesome. So no, I'm just kidding.
You are awesome.
Just kidding. No, I was just like, I need a page because I don't think a lot of people realize this. I didn't realize this. I was just a regular stay-at-home mom, and then I just started I don't know, Instagram was cool at that time, You could get away with a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah.
So
Used
I was
to.
just Yeah, you used to be able to get away with a lot, so I was able to just mold in there, but, I've been married for 15 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. I love him so much. He is one of the greatest they don't make him like him anymore. One of the greatest guys I've ever known. I just knew from the time I met him, he was gonna be an amazing father, so shout out to my husband. And
What's his
then,
name?
his name is Cole.
What's up,
Yeah.
Cole? Thanks
Yeah,
for
get
keeping it up. Thanks for
it.
giving us a good name.
Yes. He's actually on a daddy-daughter date right now with my daughter.
Ooh, I love
I
that
know.
too. That's awesome.
So cute. Yeah, she got student of the month again this year. So she's very smart. And my son, he's very cool. He reminds me a lot of me. He's into music. He loves to write music. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, I've been a stay-at-home mom ever since I was pregnant with my son. So my husband's been like a badass and taking care of me like forever. But just yeah, working things with my family and, all that crazy stuff, that trauma stuff that you have to get over and stuff like that. So I've been very fortunate enough to be able to do that and still be home with my children and stuff. So he's a badass. I just
That's
love him
dope.
so much. Yeah, he's cool as shit.
That's dope. Well, now I love Cole too.
Yeah, we all love Cole.
I like it. I like it. So I will say, like, when it comes to conspiracies and whatnot, when the first thing that opened my eyes to it was 9/11. I was in 7th grade when 9/11 happened. And I
Okay.
remember watching it on the news, because we got interrupted in the middle of school. They told us
Yep.
about it through the intercom. Then they
Same.
showed us the news on the TV, right? So we're watching it
Right.
in real time on TV, and then school's like, "Oh, we're dismissing everybody." I was like,
Yup.
"What? Why?" Because New York, yes, it's 5 hours away from where we live, but at the same time, like I don't know. I felt like they didn't. First of all, I felt like they didn't need to tell us. They didn't need to show it in the classrooms. Um, we didn't technically need it. I mean, in 7th grade, like I was, 7th grade is 13 years old. I didn't need to know that shit.
I was in 8th
But
grade, so I was 14.
yeah,
So same
yeah,
thing, Earth Science, they rolled out the whole thing, the little TV, everything, and I
that's
remember getting dismissed too. I was crazy,
yeah.
and I remember coming home and my grandmother just being like, it was on the TV, and my grandmother was just like shocked. I still did not get the severity though, or the gravity of like what was going on.
Yeah, yeah. So that's funny too, because I was in science class when they rolled out the TV to show that as well.
Wild. Me too. I
So,
was in Earth Science. Shout out Mr. Mitchell. We were learning about like mica because I specifically remember because we were talking about makeup and I was like, oh, he's like, because he said, what's in your makeup? It makes it shiny. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then I looked over to my friend Joe, and then we got an announcement. And then his face, I remember his face, it went like white. He was already like very pale man, but his
uh-huh.
face went very white. So I knew something was up, but I remember, like you said, the whole TV and just being dismissed. You're like you said, you were 13, I was 14. I didn't get like, okay, terrorist attack. And my mom, okay, so I was in New York at the time. Way upstate though. So I was about
Right.
3.5, 4 hours away from New York City. But my mom, she lived in Westchester and she lived right next to a huge power plant. So
Oh,
I
I
was
know.
freaking out because I was like, my mom, I was really worried about her because she was closer to the city. So it was a wild time. Wild. Did you ever get to go see the towers after they were
I know. I did not. I would still like to, but
I did.
it
I got to
did
go.
you?
I went this summer. It happened.
Uh-huh.
I actually have they were selling on the streets. It's so wild. I just went through that like a couple days ago, not yesterday, but a couple days ago. They were selling like pictures that people had actually taken. So I have pictures like clear as day, like that you wouldn't believe, of the actual planes like hitting the
Oh
towers and stuff.
shit.
Yeah, and I just found them like a few days ago. It's so wild that I know that they're either on my table right now or they're in my little bin, but I was like, holy crap. And my mom has been around like a lot of like bad stuff in her life. A lot of bodies just being dropped and stuff like that. So she knew what like dead bodies like smelled like. So that's the one thing that like literally like I said, I was about 14, so I probably was about 14, almost about to turn 15 that summer, and I'm about to be 39. One of the things that still sticks out in my head to this day is she said it still smells like dead bodies, like burning bodies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was
Wow.
intense. My sister was really young. There was the walls that they had of all the people that were still missing. Because keep in mind, it was like that summer. So it almost been a year, but not quite. And the pictures and rest in peace, the candles, but just the amount of missing people, because and it was almost like I said a year later. It was heartbreaking, and I was so young still, and it had
Yeah.
an impact on me. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine being someone in the building or someone on the
Oh,
plane, or you know what I mean, or someone
absolutely.
just like that. I've watched every 9/11 documentary that you can possibly think of, just because I do think it was an inside job. The
Oh
more
yeah.
the more I got older, you know what I mean? The more I got
Well,
older, the more I saw.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Which is what actually brings me back to the reason why I brought it up, was because after they released us from school, we went home and I turned it on the news at home. When I was a kid, we only had 3 channels. It was Fox, CBS, and something else. I can't remember what it was, but either way,
NBC, probably NBC with Dan Rather,
probably,
Connie
yeah.
Chung. Yeah,
Yeah, because NBC was where you got The Simpsons, right? Or was it CBS?
probably Fox.
Fox. You're right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
after school every day I would watch The Simpsons, but
yeah.
we literally had 3 channels. It was ridiculous. We didn't pay for cable. Anyways,
That's
I
totally
got home.
opposite. We did. So we did. So I had all the, I had all the channels, but yes, you are right. Fox definitely had aired The Simpsons, and there was only a good amount of channels though, like you said, like CNN, NBC, and Fox. That's it.
Yep, yeah. So when I got home, I walked through the door, dropped my bag. My brother and sister were still young enough where they were, where we got released early from school, they were going to the daycare, back to the daycare anyway. So it was only me in the house, and I turned the TV on and I'm watching it, and I watched this lady. I mean, she wasn't from. I can't remember. I'm assuming maybe it was Fox, maybe it was another channel. The channel doesn't matter, but regardless, she's like, and the second plane hit the second tower, blah blah blah
Yep.
blah. And as I'm sitting there, and I'm like, no, it hasn't. I was like, where is this other plane? And then like 2 minutes later is when the plane hits. I was like, they just reported on something that just happened after the fact. So that
Right.
was weird. That was weird to me. And I didn't really put it together right then and there, but it was as years progressed, as I got older, I was like, this is really weird. And I think I was like 24, and this guy that I was talking to at work was talking about how his wife thinks that 9/11 was an inside job, and he's telling me all this stuff of why she thinks that, and I was like, I think she's right, dude.
Yeah. I think she's absolutely correct, sir.
Yeah. The thing is that they were Saudis, and then that attack that took over, the hijacked the planes, and then we went into Iraq, which was really weird. Iraq Saudi Arabia's over here, Iraq's over here. Like, that was also weird to me in high school. I was like, why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense.
Yes. See, I wasn't that smart in high school. I was like worried about like, okay, see, you were like more like my friend Gina. She was like worried about that. I was worried about, I'm not even kidding you, auditioning for Diddy's band, making the
Oh,
band.
shit. She didn't make it, did she?
She didn't. I chickened out because by the time I was going to go with my girlfriend, Danielle, and I
Yeah.
just didn't end up doing it because I wasn't like bad, but like I still followed the rules because I still wanted to be able to get away and do stuff. So
Yeah.
so I knew there was no way we could get home and I wasn't allowed to spend the night on school nights anywhere. So there was no going all the way to New York City. But no, she did. She did not make it, thank God. But she did meet one of the choreographers, Lorianne Gibson, who I'm really surprised that she's been very quiet on this whole thing. But yeah, like it was wild. It was crazy. So my friend Gina, though, she was very into the politics and very smart like that. I wasn't even like thinking like that until a lot later, until I researched, and then I was like, same with you, except 25 years later. Hey, wait a minute. That doesn't sound correct either. So I was the same way. It just took me a little longer.
Yeah. So I mean, I always saw it in the light of like weirdness. But I never was like inside job like right away. It wasn't
Right.
until like recent years that especially when 2020 happened, when 2020 arrived at my doorstep, and I'm still out there working with no mask on, not getting sick, not being vaccinated.
Yup.
I apologize, YouTube, for using that word because
Yeah.
apparently you don't like it. But
The V
regard,
word.
yeah. But regardless, like I'm out here doing my job every day, and there's like actually more than half of the country is staying inside, and I'm just like, this is really fucking weird, dude. And
Yeah.
then the rollout of the jib jabs, and stuff like that, how fast that happened, and how like this was the real turning point for me with conspiracies and stuff. Was when you had politicians on national television stuffing their face with a fucking cheeseburger and french fries going, oh, if you get you can fucking get this big juicy ass cheeseburger that makes your ass fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like,
not like ass fat in a good way. I mean the ass fat in the bad way.
exactly. No, I agree with you totally. I was very, that's when I started waking up to a lot of things too, was around the whole vaccine, because my husband was also an essential worker.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why, you guys, my daughter's in kindergarten and she dances, like she competes.
Ooh,
I pull her
wow.
out all the time. Excuse my language, but I don't really give a fuck. The shit they did to my son during COVID, if they can pull him out for that, we were non-vaccinators too. We wanted to let it ride. Actually, so my the kids are 8 years apart. I had my son when I was very young, 24. So I did your whole typical medical. I was induced probably way before I needed to. Presley, whole different ball game. No insurance. So I had her in my living room because that was the
Oh,
cheapest way. Yeah, that was the cheapest way to do it. I had a water birth. My daughter's never been vaccinated. Like, she was off the grid for like a long time, like about a couple years. Like, she didn't even have a social security number
I
and stuff like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, so we did too. We thought it was so badass.
That is
But we had
badass.
to get it registered for school and stuff like that. Here in Arizona, it's very awesome. You can sign an exempt form not to have your kids if you don't want to have them vaccinated and stuff. But we
Mhm.
were very, very big on that. And it's funny, I recently it's kind of a little bit off topic, but at the same just being a mom and stuff like that. I like the kids are getting older, so they're driving me a little bit crazy. So I've been drinking a little bit more. So the other day, my grandmother was like, "Do you want I'll pay for your like some shots, like some weight loss, because my cousin did it. So she's like, ask your cousin what she did, and she ended up. I found out that she did Ozempic. So I was like, nope.
Ugh.
So my grandmother was like, really? Why? I was like, Nan, I didn't even take the COVID shot. I'm not about to put Ozempic. Like, I don't even know what this does it to your body. I think there were way too many people to jump on that vaccine. And just I'm RFK, he's really annoying me right now. But at that time when I think he's compromised now. But at that time he wasn't. And I think he was very truthful with a lot of things and that he was saying and that he was coming forth with. And I just really wholeheartedly agreed with a lot of things that he made sense. A lot of his research matched up with my research.
Yeah.
So I really agreed with him and I liked it. So we were very against the vaccine just simply because it wasn't developed enough. And RFK Jr. has showed multiple vaccines that we give to our children now that there wasn't like there was a trial, but the after period, you know what I mean, is like 4 weeks. Like that's not enough to study effects. You know what I mean? Like effects of what's going on later down the line. So I just didn't
Absolutely.
that alone, the development of how fast it was. And I was really into Sean Hannity at that time. And he had one of the developers. I don't remember which vaccine it was, but he had one of the developers on there. And he clearly stated this is meant to be a temporary thing.
Mhm.
Not a solution. So, and it ended up just being the flu. I know lots of people. I don't get a flu shot. Do you get a flu shot?
I don't get. So I think it was like 2013, maybe 2014. I completely stopped getting the flu shot.
Yeah.
So like, because I talked about like as I just had a baby last year,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And
Your first one?
so no, this is my third.
Okay.
I have two teenagers as well.
Oh,
So
you did the same thing too. Yeah, I feel for
yeah,
you. I feel for
yeah.
you.
So like the two teenagers, I was 20. I was 20 and 23 when they were born, and
Baby.
they got the vaccines. I didn't know any better back then and stuff like
Yep.
that. And then
Same.
with the before the third one was born, we're out to breakfast. It's me, her, my dad. And I'm talking about how I don't want her to be vaccinated. I'm talking about this. And my dad goes, well, you're vaccinated. I was like, if I jumped off a bridge doesn't mean I want my fucking daughter to jump off a fucking bridge too. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right? I hate that. I'm a vaccinated baby as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. So so like 2013, I think it was about 2013, I went to the annual doctor's visit, and they go, you want the flu shot? And I was like, and I remember thinking like, well, last year when I got the flu shot, like right after a week later I had the flu. So
very sick too.
yeah, and so I was like, no, I'm good. I think I'm good
Yeah.
this year. And then I didn't get sick. And then so 2014 comes around and the same visit, and they're like, you want the flu shot? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Didn't get sick. So ever since then I just completely stopped getting the yearly flu vaccine.
Yeah.
And so once COVID hit, my girlfriend at the time, her sister was anti-vax completely, like all vaccines and stuff. And so she was telling me all this stuff about vaccines. And I was like, even if it wasn't for her, like I would have been very weirded out anyway to not get it anyway. So I am here, still alive, never got sick. Well, I did get. I mean, we get sick anyway. We're humans. We're gonna get
Yeah.
sick regardless. We're gonna get colds. We're gonna get stuffy.
Yeah.
We're gonna get sore throats. We're gonna get coughs and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
just natural.
We got COVID.
Yeah. Well,
We all did.
that's another thing is that I'm pretty sure that I at least had it once, but I don't know for sure because I don't test for COVID either. If I'm sick, I'm sick. That's it. I'm not gonna fucking
Same.
take a special test to tell me that I'm fucking have COVID because I don't believe in that test.
Same. I didn't believe in it either. We had to take it for my son to like return to school because he had a fever because we all had COVID, but so we all had to take it, and we did the nose thing. It wasn't like too bad or anything. We did it right at my son's school, which was really cool. Didn't cost anything, but same
dope.
thing. I didn't really believe in it either. I knew for a fact, I was like, we're gonna have it. I knew just simply because of the symptoms that we all had it. We all lost our taste. We couldn't taste anything. But we all
Really?
yes. But
Oh my god.
and that must have been like that. I think that's a genetic thing because I know lots of people that got it that didn't. My family specifically, my husband's family, we all lost taste. I got it. Mine returned fairly quickly. We lost it all on Thanksgiving. So annoying. And I cooked like a bomb ass meal. I couldn't like taste it. It was so annoying. My husband could barely taste it. But yeah, we did. It was around that time. But yeah, mine came back very quickly. My husband's came back moderately quickly. My son's took a minute to come back, and his uncle's took almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be my husband's brother. So Uncle Jacob. He lost his taste buds for like a year. It was wild. I'm going to say it was probably like 10, 11 months. Maybe it was like a little under a year, but it was pretty long. I remember. And then we also at the time it was around the Super Bowl when we found out that my Uncle Jacob had it. My grandparents were here as well. Older. They were fine. Like I had a lot of family members really upset with me because I wouldn't do the shot. But I still kept going around because my grandparents are my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So their actual biological children were really not happy with me. So my aunts and uncles, but like aunts and uncles / brothers and sisters, they were really not happy with me that I kept going around. I had one, my mom was okay with it. And my uncle kind of leans more to the right. So he was kind of okay with it, but I had two aunts that were really not happy with me at all. But my grandmother is such a baddie. Okay, so my grandfather is a pharmacist, grew up pharmacist. He went to school, the pharmacist school in Albany, New York. And my grandmother was a, what was it called? Pharmacist, like they're like assistant, kind of technician. So that's kind of like how they like met, Kinney Drugs, shout out. And, yeah, so he's been a pharmacist. So he's always been about the drugs, flu shots, all this and that. But my grandmother, no, not about it. She like calls him an idiot for like, for like doing it. So they have a house in New York and they have a house in Arizona. So they travel back and forth. So they had no choice but to get the shot because they had to get back home. And ever since my grandmother like has a sinus like thing that she like can't get rid of, like ever since the shot, And I was like, we were
Yeah.
thinking at first, like, oh, it's allergens, like, you know, from going from New York to Arizona and stuff. And no, it's never settled.
Yeah. That sucks.
So, yeah.
So, like, just for like the listener's sake, I'm not saying because you're vaccinated you're stupid or anything like that. Like, that's not
Oh,
what this
same.
conversation is about. You know, I think the whole thing was a fear mongering thing, and you know, you
Absolutely.
felt like you had to get it, so you got it. Like, that's totally fine. I'm just saying, like, I felt weird about it, so I didn't get it.
Right. Same. And I was in and then here's the thing too. I was also in a position to where my husband didn't have to get it either. My job didn't depend on it. It wasn't a support my kids or get this shot. You know what I mean? So absolutely, I'm the same way. I don't think anybody was stupid for doing that. I mean, I just don't. And I think
Yeah.
that's awful. It would be awful. And I know lots of people that did get it because they had to do it for their jobs and they're still having repercussions from the shot. So no, nobody
Absolutely.
was stupid for doing it. You know, we all didn't know what was going on in that time. We all just were trying to do what was best, what we thought, you know.
Right.
Absolutely. Clear.
Right.
Yeah, I want to make that absolutely clear too. I'm on the same page with you. I don't think anyone that got the jab, you know, I know, like I said, I have lots of friends that had to do it for work or it was lose your job and they had babies.
I mean, yeah, my girlfriend had to for her job to keep her
a lot of
job.
nurses.
She was a medical assistant, so she had to, or else she was going to lose her job. And she's like, well, I don't want to lose my job, so she did it. But also, ever since she met me, she's been kind of blossoming into this beautiful flower because I've been telling her things, and she's like, oh yeah, you know, that kind of makes sense.
And it's
about
not
all this
to
stuff.
necessarily change your mind. I'm not trying to get you on any certain train. It's just to make you think a little bit because I've connected, as well as I'm sure you have, too many dots for it to not add up.
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't, where's the common factor? Because I found it. But if that's not the common factor,
yeah. So, I want to bring this up too, is like another thing that kind of deterred me away from ever getting the COVID shots was the research that was done. I can't remember at this moment in time. I cannot remember the doctor's name, but he wrote a book on it about the trials that he did during the Spanish flu, because the Spanish flu came about in 1919. So it essentially started the same time as COVID, just 100 years prior. So I was like, that's weird. 100 years later, we're on a repeat. And then what happened in 1819, 1820? There was the Black Plague, I think, or I think it was, and it's like 1720. It's all the 20s all the way down. There's a big kind of sort of pandemic, and I was just like, this is fucking really weird. But anyway, so this doctor did this research on vaccines from back in 1920, and he wrote a book on it about how vaccines were actually killing people, or harming people, I should say. Not necessarily. I mean, maybe back in the day, because research wasn't that great on this stuff, so maybe it was killing people. Yeah, and I get, like, I
think they
totally. Yeah, I totally get the what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, I totally get the reason for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that it's, you know, to, like, the heart was in a good place for them to be made. You know what I mean?
Intentions.
Right. That's it. The intention.
Yes, the intention was good,
Mhm.
but like I said, a lot of these, even like with the flu vaccine, even like because of the Spanish flu, like what is that? Influenza. That's what influenza is the Spanish flu. So those are when you hear Spanish flu, influenza, guys, same thing. They that was developed, like you said, but they had time, like and they keep developing it. We don't get this year's flu. We get last year's strand. You know what I mean? That's what the flu shot is. It's last year's strand of flu. So if we do get this year's strand of flu, which you can't predict, you know what I mean? Well, maybe. But unless you're making it yourself. But what you can't predict, so that's what they give you is last year's flu. So you get sick. Like you said, you got sick, and you usually get really sick with the last year's flu. But then if you get hit with the flu that's going around in 2025, it's not as bad. You might just get like a runny nose, or it might be so mild as that you think it's allergies. You know what I mean? When you get the flu that is actually going around. But if you've had that flu shot, it's going to be, your symptoms aren't going to be as crazy because you usually get sick before. Everybody that gets the flu shot usually gets very sick a couple days later, or their arm is really sore. But was it Dr. Joel Zenberg that you were talking about?
I think
it might be
so,
because he was on Hannity, and
was he?
because that's the guy I was talking about earlier that helped. Well, maybe it was. He was the one that like helped create the COVID vaccine, but was saying it's a temporary thing. It wasn't supposed to be like a 1 dose, 2 dose, show your vaccine cards. Like, it wasn't supposed to be like that. He pops up a lot when I look it up, the research that you just said. But
maybe because well, the reason why I had brought it up is because he did a trial back because I think whoever the doctor that I'm talking about would be dead by now for 100 years ago.
Okay,
so,
Spanish. Oh, because the Spanish flu.
Yeah, right. So,
okay,
he did like this this trial where he took 100 patients that didn't have the flu and 100 patients that did the Spanish flu, and then he quarantined them together. He had somebody with the flu cough in people's faces that didn't have the flu, and then like just like silly like things like that,
right,
stuff.
trying to get
And
them.
yeah, so he found that all the people, like none of the people that weren't sick got sick just by being in their presence.
Yes.
So, and then he wrote a book on vaccines after that. Right.
I feel.
So like I'm
the
thinking
6 feet apart.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at here with this is like I'm more in the camp of terrain theory rather than germ theory. Like, you take care of yourself. If what you take care of yourself, your body, your surroundings, everything like that, you should be good. Like, you're clean. Like, obviously there's over sanitizing. Like, that's what you get to a point where you're just not
People
protecting
spraying
yourself.
their
You're
bag
actually
with
yeah, you're
Lysol.
making that's oh my god.
Yeah, my
Oh my
grandmother.
god,
My grandmother was
that.
like, Stark, Alice, do I need to spray? I was like, Nanny, no. I was like, if anything you want, it's not gonna kill you.
You already touched it. You already touched it. You already touched it to put in your car.
It sat in their trunk or in their car. Like,
yeah.
That was Lysol trying to get that money, that capital. Lysol was on it. Remember that one dude that like hoarded all the lice or the Purell or whatever?
Yeah.
That got in trouble. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
crazy times. COVID was wild.
They were hoarding toilet paper and sanitizer and fucking
Did
all
you
that
ever
shit.
run out?
I never ran out. No,
I didn't run out either.
I
I thought
mean,
and I asked my neighbor, I'm not even kidding you. She like dropped off like a trash bag full. It's like an industrial sized trash bag though,
holy shit.
of like 1-ply paper. We still have it's still down here in my basement. So
That's
we've
fun.
never ran out of toilet paper since COVID. We've been
Yeah,
good.
there was a couple of times where it got a little weird where when we were shopping and we needed toilet paper and there was none to get, and I was like, what the hell? And then once they started stocking up again, they started putting signs, only one package per person, and I was like,
Yup.
listen,
When you
I at
couldn't
least
get it
need
on
2.
Amazon,
Nope, you couldn't do that either. Yeah.
that's when I knew things were I knew it was bad. And listen, and then you start thinking, like, it's the end of times. Like, so me, I started ordering, like, my husband was like, you need to reel it in. And I wasn't like being like one of those people, like, because I was like, just being a weirdo. I just knew, I know the government. And I was like, they are going to mess with us. We need to have stuff. I almost bought like a $900 like satellite radio. My husband was like, damn, that would have been good just in case for like later on. He's like,
Yeah.
but we really didn't need it at that time. Like we just needed a deep freezer, pretty much.
Yeah. I I remember like you said, my ex-girlfriend, we lived together, we had a house together and stuff, and we'd go grocery shopping. We'd handle all the groceries and stuff like that, and we'd get home and then she would spray them down with disinfectant and wipe them down. I was like, we already got our hands on it and stuff like that. And then when we ordered stuff from Amazon, when I got home from work, she's like, don't you bring that box in here until it's been 24 hours. And I'm like, what? And like, I'm like, they coming up with all these like time frames for all these different things to have to sit outside and how long it has to be sanitized. I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, where's the research in that?
That's when I started to be like, okay, this is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
This is getting a little ridiculous. When so in my area specifically, in Arizona, I'm not going to let everybody know specifically what town I live in, but in this town, you couldn't go. They were, okay, so Home Depot was an essential area, but they closed down the gardening area. So you couldn't go buy flowers to garden. You could, because that was the only thing. What the hell are we going to do? Well, I'm not sitting inside all day long.
Yeah.
That I will kill my children. Like, I'm not mentally stable. I'm on medication. I can't be trapped with them. So, and I had just had my daughter too. Like, so, postpartum was still like, it was on its way out, but it was lingering. So, and I was still breastfeeding. I was like, no, we have to. So we were they literally closed down, locked, gated the gardening area in our Home Depot and our Lowe's because they didn't even want us to garden. No, can't garden. Not allowed. We're going to open Home Depot because it's an essential area, but and you can come in here. You have to have a mask and do your hand sanitizer. You can shop in here for wood. Or if you want to remodel your kitchen, sure. You want to garden? No.
That's ridiculous.
The things that were happening, like, oh my God, everybody's so sick. We need to take care of our elders. You can't go around them. But my husband, he's an automotive painter and he manages a shop here and up in Arizona. But you can go to work though. He had to go to work and stuff. Really? Painting your cars, that's essential. Like, I'm thankful because we had a
Right.
paycheck. We were, but I mean, come on, he was an essential worker, an automotive insurance painter. Not like it was a custom shop. It was your regular run-of-the-mill automotive insurance company. So your cars being painted were more important than him staying home. But me wanting to go outside and garden with my children, no.
Yeah. 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 The closing of the gyms, they didn't let you in a lot of the national parks and stuff like that for
Oh, yeah.
hiking. And it was all about self-help, things that you do to be healthy, that they shut down during that time. But you could
Yes.
go to the store, wait in line, and fucking buy yourself a bag of Cheetos if you wanted to.
For sure. You could go into Walmart with a mask. You just had to make sure you had a mask on and get anything you want. But I couldn't take my kids out paddleboarding on the lake.
Yeah.
I lived
Yeah.
next to 5 lakes and they
You
were
are-
all shut down. I could not take my kids
That's
paddleboarding.
ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and like I said, I had I think she was almost she was like 8 months old at that time, like when everything started shutting down, and my son was in like 5th grade. It was just wild, and he has ADHD. I have ADHD. They wanted you to stay in your house, and I truly now, like, looking back on it, hindsight, they were just trying to see how much they could get away with who they could get away from, like who was
Yeah.
gonna fall in line, because some of the things that they did to us like just didn't make sense. And that's why I don't care if my daughter has a competition and I need to take her out for dance, or if she's got solo practice and I need to take her out for dance, taking her out.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Doing
do it.
it.
Yeah.
What
I
they
mean,
did
I'm
to these kids, and some of them have speech impediments and like just are social, like, awkward because just how they grew up and the time and just seeing people with just their eyes. It's devastating. Devastating.
I see kids coming out with their fucking tablets and headphones going out to dinner. I just saw one tonight when we went out. We went out to dinner, and she was sitting at the table, this big fucking iPad, her headphones on, and her face just stuck in the screen while her parents had a conversation, and her sister was a part of their conversation. Like, 3 of them were conversing, and this one little girl, and she wasn't a little girl. She was like 12 or older. Like,
Old enough to participate in the
yeah,
conversation. Yeah.
exactly. And she was just like stuffed in the corner. Maybe she's socially awkward, maybe autistic,
Maybe.
and that just is
Yeah.
her safe place, possibly. But I
There's
think
it happens a lot.
right, yeah,
You see that more often.
yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And
Right.
like, again, there's possibly neurological developments there that could be causing that, where she feels safer that way. But you never,
Right.
I mean, there's
Or
just,
maybe she
it's
had a really bad attitude and her parents were like, you know what, you little
yeah.
put on their headphones.
Yeah. Put that
That
fucking
could be an
shit on. I
option
don't want
too.
to fucking hear your mouth,
Yeah.
you little
Right?
son of a.
But you are correct, though. More often than not, that is not the situation, and it's just parents being lazy. And I don't know what it is with like our generation. I don't know if like our parents were like really traumatized, like, and like working out whatever they did, and they were like trying to be good parents, but then they like couldn't because of their like trauma. I feel all like my generation, like, because we're like the same, is just like like, I don't know, like we're trying to be the cool parents but like the strict parents at the same time.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
expose them but not too much, but be cool more cooler than your parents were because that what they did wasn't cool to you. But then that line blurs. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, now I'm your friend and I'm not your fucking friend. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different generation. Like it's very, very distinctive, I feel. My generation, my son's generation, and then my, husbands, my moms, my grandparents, it's just very distinct. You can just tell the generational avenues, I feel.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, my parents are Gen Xers. I don't really like to label the generations just because
Yeah.
I don't like everybody from each generation. Like I say, everybody from each group of a certain group isn't necessary. They're all different. So
Yeah, for
there's going to be
sure.
bad eggs, there's going to be good eggs in each generation. Either way.
Right. Just like
So
race.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
feel like but like the Gen X era, like they had help from their parents, and now the Gen Xers aren't helping their kids with their grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? Like, but also at the same time, we have to work way more now than we ever have before to
For
make
sure.
ends meet. So also the parents that we had who are now grandparents are still working their asses off so they can't be there for their grandchildren. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like it's just so now it's like it's getting harder to spend family time. It's getting harder to like I remember in my early 20s having all this time after work to just do whatever the fuck I wanted to do and stuff with
Same.
whether it be with my kids and stuff. Like now I feel like when I get home from work, I have to shower, shave, and go to bed. Like, and that's it. You know what I
Boom,
mean?
boom, 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 boom. And it's just so like, and it's so the same thing too. Like dinner, I pick the kids up at a certain time. Certain days my daughter has dance, certain days she doesn't. My husband gets in at a certain time. I let him. It's just like the same rat race over and over. And it is, I think it's very harder for us. I don't think it's the same. Like I think my grandparents, so my grandfather he just turned 90 and my grandmother is my grandmother's 88. They're retired. Like I said, he was a pharmacist. He worked very hard. But I think that was like that age right there. I know that's very old, but I think that's the last age right there that was retiring. My mom's never going to retire. No way.
Yeah.
No
No.
way. Never.
No. I
It's
don't
just not
believe
gonna
it
happen.
either.
I
I
don't
don't
think
believe it either.
my aunt too, like my aunt, she ran a daycare for probably 35 years, almost 40 years. And then my uncle, he works at like I said, they're upstate New York. So he works at a chicken farm. And he they paid off their house, but like I don't see them retiring either. I really
Yeah.
don't. Like to where like my grandparents, they have 2 houses. Go back and forth. Like that's the dream. Like you know what I mean? And that's so I feel unattainable
Mm-hmm.
now. Like I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
my son will ever I don't unfortunately I love my husband, but I don't is he going to be able to retire even? You know? It's hard. He has a
Right.
401k, but still, like it's so expensive. And the way the economy is, I mean, it's always been up and down, but like it's really bad now. Like one day it's $19 for a pack of bacon, and then the next day it's $7, and then the next month it's back up. You never know. I don't know how, like, the last time I took a like family vacation, I mean, I could probably get off my ass and work and we could maybe take a vacation. And we could maybe take a vacation. But no, we used to be able to do it on one income. How can we not again? You know what I mean? Like that's just the way. But I don't like the last time we all went together. my daughter she barely talked, you know what I mean? And now she's placing in competitions. So a long time, at least like 4 years.
Wow.
You know, it's been a while. We got to buy it it was cool because COVID hit too. We got a camper. It was right when right when he was on his way out.
Yeah.
And we camped all summer. It was awesome. We went everywhere, just everywhere. Grand Canyon, just
Well,
all sorts of places.
2020 COVID must have been a shelter shock for you guys then, to be going camping and then to be like, I have to stay in this fucking house.
Yeah, it really, really was. It was a lot, and I don't do well with I had to help my son with school.
Yeah.
My patience is, and I wasn't, so COVID realized I needed to be on medication because I couldn't be the mother to my son. He didn't know how to do math. I mean, math is the worst subject for
me too.
anybody.
Yes.
Me too. I was terrible. And I was getting upset with him for not knowing things that I didn't even know. So I was like, no, you need to reel it in. Medication.
Chill, lady.
Yeah.
Chill the fuck out, lady.
Yeah.
I will say with that, like if I didn't have a job that I was able to do, I probably wouldn't be here. Like if
my
I had to,
husband, same thing.
Yeah, I've struggled with suicidal ideation my entire life, and
Same.
like so if I was stuck in a situation where I couldn't go out and do stuff,
Same.
I don't know if I would have lasted.
Same. If I was a mom, I've been the same way all of my life growing up. Struggled with eating disorders, so I like if I didn't have a family, I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have made it through that either. And that's another thing that, oh my God, that's so sad because think of the people that did take their lives.
There was a lot. There
was all for
children,
what?
adults, yeah.
A lot. There was this one story that really bothered me because my son was the same age. He was really upset. He was video games, and he kept throwing his remote at his TV and broke it, and he ended up getting a new TV, brand new one, and
oh yes, yeah.
And that was during COVID too, and he was so sad, so upset to tell his dad, brand new TV, he worked so hard, and I was like, that story mixed with the COVID.
Yep.
That's what mixed with the math, me losing my shit over the math. Those three things. I got on medication immediately, just to help me calm down, just to be a little bit more patient. I've struggled with mental illness all my life. My whole family has. So, up until that point, I was very against medication, but I just knew I couldn't treat my son like that. I didn't want to be like that to my son. So I got on medication. And I'm still on it to this day. It really helps me. So I kept it. But it just breaks my heart for the people that couldn't afford a $90 visit. I don't have insurance, so everything's out of pocket, for me. So what if I didn't have that $90?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have the $50? You know what I mean? What if I had the $90 for the appointment, but I didn't have the $50 for the medication? You know what I mean? So there was so many things. So it really upsets me that, we found just a few months ago that Fauci knew exactly what was going on. And it was just a money grab because a lot of people died. A lot of people died alone.
Yep. So a lot of people did die alone.
Angry.
Yeah, and then for them to put out that study that says that masks weren't as effective as they told us that they were.
When we have kids with speech impediments now because of it.
Yeah. Like breathing in all that frickin' your that CO2 that is produced from your own breath. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. And it was funny. So me and my husband are we are weed smokers.
Mhm.
And my husband smokes vapes. So we did a little test with it. He was blowing fat clouds at it. Like it doesn't do anything. It was a joke. Okay, I don't know if your listeners or if you still see people, but I still see people with masks on.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Driving alone in their cars a lot. That's weird. That's
It's a
fucking
lot of them are
that suspect.
they're driving. That's a lot. That's really weird. But I just went to New York a couple weeks ago to visit my sister, and I'm not even kidding you. I counted at least, I don't know. I had guys, I had a few Jameson shots, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna say probably one hand. We'll say one hand with Max. Still,
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah,
You want to know what I noticed a lot lately? And it again, like I've stated this in previous episodes before. If you want to transition, go ahead and transition. Live your life as long as you're not hurting anybody. Do
exactly.
you. Do
Same.
you.
I'm
But
not
I've
gonna be
noticed,
mean.
yeah, I've noticed a lot of male to female people who are transitioning wear masks because I'm assuming it's because they still have stubbles, so they still want to appear feminine, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I've noticed that a lot too.
Same. I actually did. That's wild that you said that because out of the 5, let's say I saw 5. Out of the 5,
Mm-hmm.
3 definitely looked male-ish.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I was loving the masks because I'm not a makeup person. So I was okay with it. I was
I
cool with
fucking
it.
hated it the whole time. The whole
Me
time.
too.
They
I didn't
first
like it
came
either.
out, I was like, I don't want to fucking put a mask on my face. And my
Smelling your own breath.
my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was just like, just fucking put it on. We're in the store for like 15 minutes. You can handle it. And I was like, fine. So I started
So
wearing them.
claustrophobic, though.
Yeah,
I felt very claustrophobic.
I felt very awkward every time that I had to wear. And I remember
Same.
like the grocery stores too having, I don't know if Arizona ever did this, but um I don't know if I don't even know if the entire state of Maine did it, but the town that I was living in at the time, our grocery store had arrows on each aisle. So if you were in this aisle, you had to go that direction, and then the next aisle you had to go
Yeah.
the opposite direction. And
No coughing.
I did, I went in the opposite direction of the arrows every fucking time, and my girlfriend was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm not listening to these
No.
fucking people.
I'm breaking the law. I'm breaking the law.
And every time I walked the wrong way down an aisle, people would stare at me, and I was like, come on now. And I think it was like
Really?
2021. I had just bought this house, and I was going out Easter shopping for my kids, and we still had to wear masks at the time in 2021.
Mhm.
And I was in Walmart. I brought the mask all the way down under my chin, like right under my bottom lip. And I was just walking around the store, like, because I was over it at that time. I'm like, fuck this. Like, this is I didn't want to do it to begin with. I'm overdoing it.
Right.
And
A year later. 2
yeah,
years almost.
yeah. And I just remember the fucking people would stare at me. Nobody ever confronted me. Nobody ever fought with me. I wouldn't have fought back with them anyway. I would have just not even said anything. I would have just continued on doing what I was doing,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't think physically fighting over a mask is worth it anyway. But
Nah. Same with a MAGA hat. It's like the
yeah,
same thing with like a MAGA hat. I wore that. I voted for Trump both times. I'm a little annoyed this time, but
yeah,
I still think he was a better choice for
yes.
sure.
Mhm.
But I'm a little irritated this time. But I had on my my dark MAGA, I guess they call it dark MAGA. I had on the black MAGA hat, and then I had
Yep.
on my Candace Owens
Ooh, I
anti-feminist
love
shirt.
Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
bought one of
God.
her sweatshirts, and I wore that to the airport. And I sat next, okay, so I assumed the way this guy was acting, I assumed he was gay, okay? And the guy next to him was definitely gay. Well, I don't know, but he seemed definitely gay. I was stereotyping, I was assuming full on. I was 2 margaritas deep, guys. Sorry. So I like looked over to him and I thought they were together, and they weren't together, but they were gay. But they just weren't together. So he was talking to me, and it was so great. He was just like, we had like a great time. And he told me, because he needed to board his plane, he was like, he shook my hand and he was like, because I bought his drink. He was just a great time. So he shook my hand and he's like, I was really hesitant to sit by you with your MAGA hat and your anti-feminist sweatshirt. And I was like, I know, I was a great time. He's like, you were a great time. So we ended up like just like being cool, but I did definitely have a lot of people once I got to New York, which was wild. A lot of people would just stare at me, but really stare.
Yeah.
Like really, hold on. I'm like, you can't read it? Like, come on. Take a picture. I will pose for you.
Yeah.
I will pose. But just like take the picture, like seriously, it'll last longer. This one guy really was like really staring at me. But then I had like more people, God bless you. I had
Thank you.
more people, no problem. I had more people embrace me for the MAGA. I had multiple pilots on both planes that they're going and then coming back to Arizona. Loved my hat. I had people in the hotel. Shout out to Geraldine. She wrote a book. It's called I Know God Can Use Me. It's like a children's book. She was so sweet. Met her at the hotel. She ran into me because I had my MAGA hat and she just decided. But so you guys, I get to this hotel because me and my sister had like a falling out while I was in New York. So I'm like, I need to go to Times or just close to JFK so I can get out. Like the Uber's not expensive. So that's where I said I met her, but I had the best time just by myself in New York. And I was really scared because I thought New York, I thought it was going to be just crazy. And everybody was really nice, and I was pleasantly surprised at how clean it was.
Oh.
Yeah, there was more. I'm going to tell you guys, there was more mentally ill people on the streets, like later on, like after 11:30, I probably wouldn't like walk Times Square, but there were more mentally ill people than homeless people on the street. I only saw, and I was like near Times Square. I only saw, I'm not even kidding you, I've seen more people in downtown Phoenix than I saw in New York. I was mind blown.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Dude,
crazy.
freaking, talking about homeless people, I have to tell you this story. I don't know if so. I talked about it on my live morning show, but
Cool.
so
I love that.
Anywho, so Portland, Maine is one of the biggest cities in Maine, and it's an important city, but it's also not a very clean city. So I drive for a living. I dump dumpsters, and I was
Dope.
driving through downtown fucking Portland, and I'm coming up this hill. It's fucking 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. And this woman's out on walking down the sidewalk, and I'm coming up to this intersection. She's on the corner and she has her back to me, and it's almost like she heard the engine of the truck and was just like, huh?
Right.
And turned around, looked me dead in my eyes, and I was like, fuck, I made eye contact. And she starts waving. And I just acted
so
like
funny.
I didn't
we
see
say
her.
That too. We made eye contact. No.
I was like, fuck. And like I could see her out of the corner of my eye, just like waving as I drive by. And I was like, I'm just act like I didn't look at her. Right. So I pull into which was like almost right there. I pull into the left. She's on the right hand side of the road to dump this dumpster. And I'm back there behind this building. And I do what I need to do. I pull out and I'm coming out. She's over here. I have to cross the street diagonally to the gas station for their dumpster, and she goes, "Hey!" and she starts waving at me, and I was like,
Right.
and I'm like, and I wave, and I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway. And she fucking bolts across, like there was an opening for me to go, and she starts across the street diagonally in front of me so that I can't leave the parking lot. And I was like, come on, lady. And she comes around and she's like, hey. And I'm like, what is this? I was like, I don't have any money. And I roll down my window.
How many money?
And I roll my window down. I go, what's up? She goes, do you want your cock sucked? And I go, excuse me? And she goes, do you want me to suck your dick? And I was like, no, I do not want that. She's like, $40. And I go, no. I was like, I can get it free at home. And she goes, are you sure? And I go, I'm very sure. And she goes, okay. And then just like turns around and walks off. Like, I'm like, you fucking. I was like, is this a movie right now? I've only seen this happen in movies. Like, that was the weirdest interaction of my entire life.
Trucker stops are crazy.
Are they?
Yeah. Those are they? No, I've just had some crazy experiences with some stops. I'm just gonna say that.
I've seen some weird
and some crazy people.
I've seen. So my kids and I took a road trip all the way to Arizona from Maine. We went down to Flagstaff.
Oh,
and
cool.
Yeah, we went and visited the Grand Canyon. We went to the South Rim, and then we went to the North Rim, not the North Rim, the West Rim.
Yep. Okay, cool.
That's on the reservation. And we did some fucking we had a lot of fun.
It's awesome. My son has played a lot of football games up in Flag.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Different air for sure. The elevation is insanity. I had a girlfriend that climbed, I can't remember, it might be McKinney, I'm not sure. People are from Arizona are gonna probably ream me for this, but it's like one of the highest peaks in Flagstaff. And or maybe it's Mount Humphreys, maybe. It starts with an M, I can't remember. But it's insanity. The air is so thin up there. In fact, one of my girlfriends lived in Prescott, and her grandfather, he can't come up because the air is so thin. It's like different air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he gets sick, like hospital, like he goes to the hospital. He comes up here, he gets so sick, it's wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
When we were down there, my son wanted to do one of those mule trips where they bring you down inside the Grand Canyon and you can do
Yep.
like camping and stuff like that. He really wanted
Yes.
to do that, but at the time he was like 14, and I don't know, like I did it, like the vacation was on a whim, kind of. We went to
Yeah.
Arizona in
You had to plan for
Williams.
that.
Yeah. We went and I wanted another thing that I wanted to do was like canoe or kayak or something, like rent a boat for the horseshoe
Yep.
in
Oh,
the Colorado
yes.
River. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So,
And then
yeah.
as we're like I'm driving there and like I'm looking into it at the same, we stopped for gas and I'm like looking into it on my phone. And like you have to reserve like a couple days ahead. I'm like, what the
Yes.
hell?
And it's far. That's like that's another
It
4.5
was
hours away.
yeah, I think it was 3 from Flagstaff.
Okay, because we go to Lake Powell every
Okay.
other summer. Yeah, it as at first the first few years we did it so we started in I'm gonna say like right after COVID, because we had the camper. So like right
Mhm.
that was one of our big trips that we did with it. So we did it that summer. My daughter was like 2, and then we did it when she was 3, and then we skipped that year. We went to Mexico, and then the following year. So was it last summer? I don't know. Either last summer or the summer before, we did an all adults trip, and we rented a boat.
Dope.
It was like Project X on that boat, but like for adults. It was insanity.
Nice.
We ended up docking at the place where the original Planet of the Apes were filmed.
Ooh, shit.
It was
That's dope.
It was so we were just hanging out, and me and my husband ended up like hanging out in our cabin for a little bit and just just hanging out. We were hanging out. And when we got there, when we docked, he was like, "Oh my God, they got us to the spot. They got us to the Planet of the Apes spot." And like, we were with there was probably, I'm going to say there was probably like 12 of us. So, and we were like all in couples. So all parents, and his brother was there too, Uncle Jacob that got the COVID. He was like, "Yeah, we got you there." Like we drove the boat. It was us. We just had a great time. The amount of Trump flags. Lake Powell, I don't know, that's an experience. And the water levels are always up and down, but like recently they've been really high up, so you can actually like get through like certain channels and stuff.
Mhm.
I recommend everybody to grab their closest friends and rent a boat. Just get it before like the season, get it in the off season, because the boats are crazy. Like when you rent them in the off season, they're at least $2,000 cheaper. You rent them like in, July, August, like the good time, to go and stuff, and they're way more expensive, but we had a blast. That was one of the most funnest trips we've ever taken. So I recommend everyone get about Lake Powell. But that's very close too, though, to where you were talking about to Flagstaff. So we've
Yeah.
gone there a bunch of times. We've done the Grand Canyon. My husband, though, native born in Iowa, but like pretty much raised here, never been to the Grand Canyon. It's beautiful, isn't it? Did you like it?
I did. I loved it. I really
Yeah.
did. We got up bright and early from the hotel, went up there to the South Rim, hiked fucking took
Oh
all
yeah.
day to go from one point to the other, and we started our descent into the canyon, and
Mm-hmm.
then like we're like halfway down, and I was just like, guys, it's getting late. By the time we get down there and get back up, it's
It's
gonna be dark.
way dark.
So we should just turn around right now. When they're
Yes.
like, and my son was like, but I really want to go down there. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? When you're older, we could definitely come back. So
Yes. A mule trip is fun.
yes. And that's that. He was like, I was like, next time, I was like, we'll do the mules. We'll bring tents. We'll
Yes.
tent out. We'll do that whole thing and stuff like that. So we'll probably do it for like a birthday or a special occasion, or maybe we'll go
For
for
sure.
a Christmas or something like a
Oh, that
holiday
would be a
that
great time too, because it's beautiful up
yeah.
here too. Because I'm familiar with the northern part of Arizona and stuff. My girlfriend, she actually ran rim to rim.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've had lots of friends go down to the bottom of it. I've had a girl, my cousin did have a Supai Falls, and which is amazing. I don't know if you are familiar with Jodi Arias. Familiar
Yes.
with her? Okay, yeah, huge. I was
Yeah.
really big into that trail. So that beautiful waterfall that her and Travis are behind, that's Havasupai Falls. My cousin has hiked down to the bottom, but it takes a very long time. Mules are required as well. So the mules, that's a very common thing when you go down into Arizona and you hike into deep crevices, deep basins. They have lots of mules to carry your bags, to carry you maybe sometimes, but it's mostly to carry your stuff
Yeah.
down to the bottom and stuff like that. So
yeah, like
yeah,
jugs
let me
of
know.
water and all that shit.
Yeah, when we get off here, let me know, because I know if you ever want to do that, I can hook you up with a person who will take you to awesome spots that locals know and that tourists don't go to. So you won't be around.
Dope,
Yeah,
son.
you won't be around a ton
Dope,
of people.
son.
Yeah,
I
I
knew
got
there
you.
was a reason why I started this
Yeah.
podcast.
I got you. For sure. No, Arizona's bomb. Arizona's really cool. The more northern you go to, it's just like they get snow up there. People
Right.
don't, people are like, oh, you get snow in Arizona, and I'm like, yeah, we get snow. So it's pretty dope up here. I love it. So when you like I said, when we hop off here, let me know and I'll hook you up with all the cool spots.
Nice. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Of course.
The ladies in Arizona treated me very well too. Just saying.
They're some of the most gorgeous. They say Arizona has one of them. They say like
Well, because
Arizona.
you got native, Hispanic. You got all, like the whole kit and caboodle, the whole thing, all of them.
Yeah, for sure. So I am from northern Arizona, but when I first moved here, graduated in 2005, moved out here right away. Like 2 months after graduation, I lived I lived in Mesa, Chandler, Scottsdale.
Holy cow.
I've lived everywhere. So I've gotten to see like just like how it's developed and how just like who comes here and stuff like that. You are correct. A beautiful mixture of just people. Like you said, natives. And so like I'm half black, half white, even though I'm like really pale right now. Myself, I need a tan so bad. But you would think Arizona sun. But no, I like to stay out of the sun. But no, it's just you have so much like when I'm here, when I was down in the valley, like I said, I'm half black, but I look either Mexican or I look Dominican or I look like I'm not from here because I talk a certain way or something like that. So it's very mixed. I love it here. I get a lot of people thinking I'm Spanish though. I'm like, no habla español.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
I get asked if people think that I'm Hispanic too sometimes, especially in the summer. Obviously more so in the summer because I tan really well.
Yeah.
I'm part native and I'm French, so
Okay. Yeah.
the French people tan pretty good, or well, certain bloodlines in France tan pretty good anyway.
But
And then obviously native tans really well. So I have been I've been asked if I'm Puerto Rican. I've been asked if I'm Cuban.
Me
And
too.
then yeah, so like
Funny
I actually
story.
had a friend's mother. She goes, "Hey Kevin, are you Hispanic at all?" And I go, "No, I'm white." And she goes, "Oh, well, you look like a fucking spick." And I go, "Well, that was fucking rude as fuck."
Right? Like, whoa. Reel it in, lady.
Yeah, I was like, "That's fucking rude."
Funny story. I literally thought I was Puerto Rican and Cuban and white growing up, like my entire life. And I did one of those like DNA like things.
Oh yeah.
I was fully well aware that they were going to keep my DNA and probably clone me. And I was like, cool,
They
there
already
needs to
did.
be more. Yeah, there needs to be more Alice's in the world. So let's just do it. So, no, the one that I did one that supposedly is pretty good. But anyways, yeah, found that I was not Puerto Rican and Cuban. Totally just
Wow.
black and white. So I was like 30, I don't know, like 35. And I found out that, no, you're black.
Your parents never told you?
No. So like I grew up with my grandparents.
Oh yeah, that's
My
right. You
mom is
said
white.
that earlier.
Yeah.
You
So
said
my
that
mom is
earlier.
white. So I knew I was
Yep.
white. You know, I grew up with her side of the family. But my dad, typical. Okay, I was gonna make a joke, but I didn't. Let's not. Let's not. We don't know how that's gonna go over.
It's just a joke.
I can say it because, first of all, I'm black,
you're
and second
allowed.
of all, my dad wasn't there, so I can say it.
You're very well
Cliche.
allowed. Yes.
I'm very cliche when it comes to like the joke. You guys will get it. If you don't, good luck. So we didn't really know like what his side of the family was. I had like a few family members like reach out to me, but not very much. But yeah, it's he was Cuban, but Cuban and black.
Okay. So you are slightly Cuban.
But I thought I was really Puerto Rican though, guys. Like, or you know, I get the test back.
What's that?
1.1%.
Yeah.
You're not Puerto Rican.
No.
Not even 2%.
Yeah.
Not even 1.5%.
Not even 1.5. Not even half.
So I'm proud to represent the, you know, the black and the white side, the mixed side and stuff. And there's a lot of just to segue into something different. There's a lot of misconceptions too that I feel bad that the black community specifically just gets like pushed onto them. Just like for instance, Obama. You know, oh, he's black, he's good, he's gonna, you know, they tried to use our skin color like to like make us like try to manipulate us and think, you know.
Yeah, it's just like Biden when he was running for office in 2020, and he's like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
You're not black. To Charlemagne, the god, yeah. And then like here we go, we're in 2025. Can I wonder if you have any audience members from Flint, Michigan? Can you tell me if your water is clean yet?
It's probably not.
It's
actually,
I know it's not. I know it's not for facts. I know it's
I
not.
listened to a band from Flint, Michigan, and I think their latest album was 2019. I could be wrong. And they're still talking about the water being gross.
Yeah. And here Obama was drinking the water.
And he's like, can somebody get me a glass of water?
Yeah.
This isn't a stunt. This isn't a stunt, guys. I'm just thirsty.
I need a glass of water. Yeah, here we go. And everyone's like, no. There was people in that I listened to some of the audience members that were interviewed after that said themselves, we knew that was a joke.
Yeah.
Don't drink, don't. It's not safe. And number one. Number two, we know that water's not from We know it's probably filtered that
You're drinking a bottle of water in a glass, technically.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I mean. I think that they get manipulated a lot. That's
For
why
sure.
I'm very interested to see. I've done a lot of research about Martin Luther King.
Mm.
I'm really interested to see if they're going to tell the truth.
The FBI killed him. They released those documents.
Yeah, I know, but let's talk about who he was as a person.
I think we all knew that he wasn't a great person. Like, infidelity was definitely a big thing with him.
Yeah, but Diddy Jr.?
Whoa, what? Tell me that again.
Yeah, that's what I want to be released. That's what I want people to see, that he was a fucking monster. He was not.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
lot of research that I have.
On a lot of underage and shit like that.
Yeah, and just, what was that guy's name? He was on Tucker Carlson. So there's an interview with this guy. You can find it, and he talks about how Martin Luther King was a very dirty man. He was getting paid by Moscow. And just he was not good. He was not, he was part of the Black Boule.
Oh, yes.
And anybody part of the Black Boule, which is now known as the Black African American, or no, African American upper class society. So the abbreviations for that, like just the acronyms. So that's
Jay-Z,
now
Beyonce, all of them are in there.
Oprah, I'm talking Black excellence, Black billionaires, high ups. Not talking like your regular Lil Nas X.
Well, he might be now.
Yeah, maybe now after that Montero came out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But higher up, Tyler Perry.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? He has ties to the royals.
Mm-hmm.
The royals. Meghan and Harry stayed at Tyler Perry's house while they were going through all that crazy stuff with when they were losing their security, and right at the beginning of all that stuff, when they were leaving the royal family, they stayed at Tyler Perry's mansion. He gave them his mansion, but he's Black Boule. So the Black Boule, they benefit from oppressing Black people, the Black community. So they benefit from it. They make money off of it. And when you look up the members, Wikipedia it's not hard to find. You see these members, and they are prominent Black men. You've got people that were members of the NCAAP. Like I said, Martin Luther King, W.E.B. Du Bois. He's wrote many books. There's a book that he wrote that gets a compilation, thank you, of just written essays it's called The Negro Problem. So there's a lot of things. On my original page, I have a whole highlight called the Black Boule. LeBron James, he's in it. There's certain symbols, anything like this. When LeBron James goes like this, this is sixes right here. So 6,
yeah,
6, 6. And then anytime he goes like this, or, one eye, that's all part of the Black Boule. Now, the Black Boule originally was a fraternity. And they were all I've done some research on this. I've found some conflicting like research. Some say these 6 members that started the Black Boule, 2 of them were white. But then I find in other research that the 6 founding members, they were all Black. So I haven't found for sure, but it would be very interesting if 2 founding members of a all Black fraternity were white.
It would be very interesting.
Right?
It's like male feminism, like male feminists.
Yeah. Yes. It would be very weird. And the thing too about that, so this goes back so far. It's really deep rooted. Like the KKK, the white supremacists work together.
Right.
It's not about the race. It's about manipulating the masses. So
Right.
the Black Boule had a thing called the Title 10.
Uh-huh.
And it was the 10% of the Black people, the rich Black people, they could have influence on that 90% that were middle class or poor. So that's why today we have people like Obama or people like Oprah. You see them, they're Black, they made it. I could do it, they could do it, I could do it. We're Black. The everything's against us.
Yeah.
They built it that way. They built it that way with the white people. With the white people, the Black people and the white people work together to make you think a certain way. That's why neighborhoods never get better. That's why like all these people, why is Oprah like opening up schools in Africa? Or like why is Tyler Perry donating charities to Nicaragua, money to No, you have people in your backyard. Oprah, Chicago. Terrible. Obama, terrible. Tyler Perry, LA, terrible. What, you donate to other countries?
I mean, I get it at the same time, but like you have your own people here that
That's what I mean.
need help, right? Yeah, I know that's what you're saying. Like, I'm just saying, like, I get the helping over there, but at the same time, like, why aren't these people getting help? And that's the premises that I like Trump under is America first. You know,
Yes. Same thing.
everybody here. I like the fact that he didn't give money. He didn't want to give money to. He literally asked Zelensky. He said, "We're looking for a peaceful resolution," and he's like, I just want money." Like essentially, that's basically what he said. He's like, "I just want money," and Trump's like, "No," and then
we've given
and
you
that's
so much already.
yeah,
No,
and then that's what led to that like weird exchange. Is Zelensky's like, you have an ocean separating you, but soon you'll feel it. And Trump's like, we ain't gonna feel shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then
don't tell me what we're gonna feel, okay?
Yeah, exactly. And I enjoyed that. I was like,
Me
yes,
too.
because I don't want to give money to Ukraine. But then he turns around and gives money to Israel. That's my problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Trump. I've never really thought Trump was a great person personally.
Me neither.
Never thought he was a great person. I think he's a good businessman.
Yep,
Exactly.
100%. That's why I was like, you can run this shit better than anyone because you know business. You're grabbing people by the pussy. Not fucking cool. Not fucking cool. But is it true? Can you do it? Because who you are? 100%. You weren't lying. I don't like that you said that, but like you ran. I had money in my pocket. I was able to buy a trailer. I was able to make those payments on the trailer. I was able to afford to put food to camp, plus pay my bills, plus pay my mortgage, plus my son and daughter dance, football, whatever. Now we're like, do we keep the trailer? We haven't camped in 2-3 years. Yeah, I can't afford groceries plus an extra $500 to go camping
Right.
for 2 days. I can't do that. It's not
Right.
possible. It's just
It
not
did.
going to happen. So I liked the way he ran things economically.
Yes.
We had more money in our pocket than we ever did before. That's what I liked about it. And that's what I think why
But
COVID came about was because it was running too good. It was running too good. Too smooth. Way too smooth. Everybody
yes.
had money in their pocket. Not only did we have money in our pockets, we had a savings account on top of being able to go camping.
Yeah.
What?
So the freaking and it's also like back then when it was all happening for the first time, and what the narrative was, somebody ate a fucking bat, right? And it never came from the lab. And if you say that it came from a lab, that you were a conspiracy theorist, well, what
Banned
happened
from
last?
Facebook.
Yep, banned from Facebook. You talk about Event 201. You're
Done.
banned for I posted a video. I don't know if you saw the video, but it was a video of Pitbull. I can't remember what podcast he was on, but he was on a podcast and he was talking about Event 201. I posted it on Facebook and I got kicked off Facebook for fucking 24 hours. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I'm posting a video of somebody else talking. Like, Event 201 is a real fucking thing.
No, they were not having they weren't having even facts.
Yeah.
No facts even. You were not allowed. That blew my mind. Yeah, I was in Facebook jail so much. I got kicked off like a couple times. Just redid the thing. But like that, and my friends too. And then that fueled, I think, once that started happening. And like, so I was hard on it. But then you had people like your family members, right? That were like, what the? But then once they were like, oh man, you got kicked off. Wait, what? Like for just talking about, and you're like, yeah, kicked off.
Yeah.
Can't come back unless I make a whole new thing. That started to get some.
God forbid you offend somebody. God forbid.
You have an opinion. Disagree.
Like Candace Owens says, life is hard. Wear a helmet.
Okay. Love me some Candace Owens, okay?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
If I could have, I would have been the one to marry her. If I could, oh my God. Not only is she intellectually fantastic, not only is she intellectually fantastic, she is also extremely gorgeous.
She is just so classy. I just love the way she holds herself and represents herself. So I have been fortunate enough to, on my other account, to be able to talk with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was amazing. Okay, so remember when Kanye was like losing his shit and going off on being a Nazi, and then he like he kind of brought her into it, and he was like, I didn't fuck your husband, but I fucked blah 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 blah. Well, I kind of wasn't like I was like, oh my God, just thought it was crazy. It was a crazy 48 hours with all of his tweeting that he was doing. So I reposted something and I was like, Candace, let a bitch know what's going on. Why is he saying this about you? So she replies and she's like, I think you are mistaken. It's not about me. And I'm like, I'm freaking out, right? So that was that. That was the first time. Then I don't know if like you're following this Jessica Reed Krause.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God. Okay, so drama with RFK Jr. right now. We think he's being compromised by Israel.
Oh boy, yes, I think that already.
So
Anyways,
yeah, because you've seen him meeting, what's that guy's name? I can't remember, but he's like really not a good guy. Like, oh God, dang it.
Netanyahu?
No,
No.
it's another guy. Hold on. So he RFK Jr. Israel. Okay. He is with this one guy. Where is he? Okay, images. Let's see here. Yes, there he is. Okay. He went on this march with this guy. Sorry, I don't know why this is taking forever. Okay, I stand with Israel because I stand with peace, prosperity, and justice for all. You can find this, you guys Google it. But there's a picture and it's with, what is this guy's name? Candace Owens talks about him all the time. But he's a bad news bears. He is not good. So, okay, presidential candidate Robert F. joins Rabbi Shmuley. Rabbi Shmuley. Not a good guy. Shmuley. Rabbi Shmuley. So, okay. Robert RFK Jr., the whole thing with Olivia Nuzzi. Do you know that?
I don't.
Okay, so
Enlighten
he
me.
had an affair
Okay.
with this Olivia Nuzzi. Olivia
Yeah.
Nuzzi works for New York Magazine.
Of course she does.
Right? Jessica Reed Krause is an independent journalist, mommy blogger, fucking makes it, right? Just so happens, because she's an independent, hates Trump, hates Candace, going on this rampage, right, on her Substack. Well, RFK is running for president at this time. So he's the independent. She hops on the train, right? Well, this bitch gets into his camp. He's like BFFs with her. Cheryl, his wife, BFFs. They're all tight, right? So she is also friends with Olivia Nuzzi, Jessica Reed Krause. Now, this piece comes out. Olivia gets fired gets put on a leave of absence because an article comes out that she had an affair with RFK Jr. Sexting scandal, right? It's a huge thing. He's running for president at the time. He is due in Arizona that night that the scandal breaks with Tulsi Gabbard and Jessica Reed Krause. She was going to be the moderator between the two, and just like they were just talking, like they're both very even keel, Tulsi and RFK. She didn't need to like moderate. She was just asking them questions, right? So this comes out, and she's super close to RFK. Jessica is, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, like what's going on? Is she going to ask the questions?" But she's also close with Olivia. So Jessica writes this whole Substack piece on how basically Olivia's like she's pissed at her. She's upset because she used her and she used RFK, and now she's like, he's trying to run for president. Why is she saying this now? So everybody's like, okay, cool. Jessica's got the inside scoop, right? Because she's really close to RFK. Well, a few months ago, RFK starts really leaning into Israel really hard. And some guy has him on some podcast and he reams him. And he's like, this is not what you stood for. Like, then all of this stuff about it's his dad, right? That they shot? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fucking nothing nothing from him. What has he said about that? Barely anything. So we're like, what is going on? So I'm starting to dig more into it because I've been close with this Jessica girl. Well, not really close with her, but just in her camp trying to like get her attention. I've worked with one of her writers and I dig into a little more deeply, and she's friends with like this millionaire Paul who was like running like a bunch of stuff. I don't know. It gets really deep. It gets really like the ties get deeper and deeper. So basically Candace runs this whole thing because Jessica brings Candace Owens into it. And Candace Owens is like, hell no. You know, her. She's like, I'm not going to put up with this. So there's like a whole series that she's done. Like, there's a few things. So I was able to talk to Candace Owens also about that because Jessica doesn't really like when you copy her. Like, if you use the same song on your Instagram story, she's like, you copied me. That's my story. So I was telling Candace, she's probably mad at you because you're covering the Harvey Weinstein thing. Because she was covering that, Jessica was, and didn't get the attention that Candace is now getting because she talked about the gangrene and the penis and all of those women getting thrown out of the lawsuit because they couldn't fondle his balls if he didn't have balls. So it was like a whole big thing. So Candace Owens is really uncovering RFK Jr. right now. And I think that they have got more Israel, more on that sexting scandal. Penis pictures, maybe audio, stuff that he doesn't want to get out that is making him lean more that way. Because he was never.
No, he wasn't. That's interesting. You know, that's how they get you every time. Anything that has to do with sex, man. Anything that has to do with sex. That's why you gotta fucking either A, keep it in your pants or just own it.
So then, me and this one account discovered, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Bohemian Grove.
Oh, very familiar.
So, Danger One posted a video of the Bohemian Grove, broke into it, right?
Yep.
Why does he find a magazine, a New York magazine, same one Olivia writes for, with RFK Jr. on the cover that says the takedown or whatever? And I have got a roster of people that were there that weekend.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's the frickin' humiliation ritual. That's what it is.
100%.
They just did it to Mike Tyson.
This dude didn't even know what he said. He opens his door, and I'm like, and Olivia Nuzzi was 6 months into, or no, they were 6 months into their affair when this magazine came out. That means Olivia Nuzzi was working for New York Magazine when this magazine came out that was in the drawer of the Bohemian Grove. Why is that there?
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, why is that there? Why is that in the drawer? I mean, and there's so many things. I like pause the video. If you really like that guy did it. I hope he is still alive because I'm just a small stay-at-home mom and all you have to do is pause the video or listen to the names and research them. I don't want to say it here because I mean, I'll tell you later. I don't want to say it here because I don't want anything to happen to me. But
She is not suicidal, by the way.
No, I'm not suicidal. I love my kids. I love my husband. I love my life. I'm not kidding you. I've got I've got a roster of names that were there in 03 that were there at the same time that were in the drawer. And the Bohemian Grove is real. Kid Rock went to it. You guys can
I
look up that
believe that.
interview. With I think he was on Joe Rogan. He ended up punching somebody. I did a whole if you want to go on to my actual not my actual account is still active. But I've got a whole the magazine of RFK Jr. is on there. I looked up the actual magazine so you can see the real magazine. I paused, freeze framed Danger One, the video and everything so you can go see it for yourself. And that's what's mind blowing about this kind of stuff. It's like I could get killed, but like it's literally fucking out there for everybody to see. All you have to do is
Yeah.
like pause the video.
Look.
You know what I mean?
All you got to do is look into it.
Literally, that's all you have to do.
Hashtag look it up.
Hashtag look it up. Bohemian Grove. Seriously, PH. And that's why I get a shadow banned a lot on Instagram. Like I have
I
a lot of
believe
like,
that.
yeah, like I'll
Yeah.
go in. I went into that like with the RFK, and I went in a lot about Diddy. I'm
Oh
just
man,
up to
Diddy.
date with the Diddy and Rachel Chandler. I get banned a lot, shadow banned a lot when I mention Rachel Chandler and Midland Agency, anything Penalt. So that would be Balenciaga, YSL, Dior, Salma Hayek. She's married to Penalt, so she's married to the owner of all of pretty much any high fashion designer. Miu Miu, you know.
Yep,
like I said,
that
so,
she is.
yeah, so
That
there's
she
like
is.
there's a lot of creepy videos of her like spirit cooking
Drinking
and
baby's blood.
yeah, or just like eating, like just simulating like eating like something, there's a really weird video of Selma Hayek going around right now. So and I loved her too. I didn't,
Me too.
that's one of the things when you become awake, just all the things, all the people that you thought, like I loved Lady Gaga, I loved Selma Hayek, I loved Tom Hanks, like,
Yeah. Yeah, Tom
So-
Hanks is interesting one. So I really wanted to go down the Hollywood rabbit hole and definitely discuss some Tom Hanks stuff. We are currently in 2 hours already, so we never got onto. So we should definitely pick this conversation up again. I would love that. I've been
Yeah, me
really
too.
enjoyed engaging with you. You're awesome to talk to.
Thank you. So are you. I had so much fun, and I definitely want to get into that because that's my specialty.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm available whenever you are.
There's so much that goes into that, and it ties into everything that we're coming off of right now.
Right. So this could be like a part 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so real quick, if you don't mind, letting everybody know where they can find you if they want to check out your stuff, and also, if you don't mind, letting Candace Owens know she can come on Where the Weird Ones are at any time she wants.
1,000%.
She probably doesn't want to. But
no, she seems like she'd be cool. Like she just did her podcast. So Ian Carroll.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
was involved in that whole thing. He got dragged in the whole Jessica drama too. So Jessica like went on a tangent in her like Substack newsletter and she attacked Candace, Ian, and Tucker Carlson, like all in one. So I'm like this with her. So just kidding. I'll see what I can do. I'll shout you out for sure. But so
Okay.
you guys, you can find me at Alice_Redpill. That's my original account. It's still working right now, but I cannot post from that. Like I said, it got hacked into. I'm trying to get into it right now. It's looking hopeful. But right now I am posting from Alice Redpill 12. All one word. just posting updates. And I also have a Substack, which is Alice Redpill as well. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. I just like to write just stuff that you can't like break down, like if it would take too long on an Instagram story. So yeah, you can find me there. And I try to get back to messages as much as I possibly can. So feel free to inbox me. But I would just inbox at the Alice Redpill 12 right now, because like I said, I can't get into the other one. But the other one, just my Alice_Redpill, just has so much stuff. Like that's been an account that I've been working on since October. So I've got a lot of Black Boule stuff that I talked about. There's highlights. My April 2nd highlight was pretty dope. We've got some Rachel Chandler stuff in there, Diddy stuff, of course, Trump stuff. So it's a mixture of everything. So like I said, if you want to check that out. And if you want to message me or get a hold of me, Alice Redpill 12.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much.
I enjoy your Thank you. I enjoy your content. I've enjoyed you. You're like I just said, you're a wonderful person to talk to. But I will tell the listeners, you take the blue pill and you go home. You believe whatever you want to believe. Take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and we show you. Well, Alice shows you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So.
For sure. And you'll love it. I don't know if you'll love it, but see, there's Alice. We've got a lot of figurines on my little desk over here and stuff. But yes. And my daughter, she would like to say hello because she wants to say hello. Hi.
Hello.
Presley girl. Say hi.
What a beautiful little girl.
Thank you so much. She's my doll. I know. Like she's like white as a ghost. You would like not think that she was like a mixed race child, but it's so funny. But yeah. Come take the red pill. Come see the red pill theory. It's fun and interesting.
It definitely makes you, once you take it, you question everything.
That's the thing. You question everything. Oh,
absolutely.
Is that a line in the sky? Or is that a chemtrail? Are they messing with me? Is that why my allergies are bad?
It's weather manipulation.
Exactly. So
all right, guys.
Have me on anytime, buddy. I'll gladly, like I said, stay at home mom. So.
All right, we'll definitely stay in touch for sure.
For sure.
But for the listeners, that is the show. So please go check out Alice if you're interested in all the things that she's talking about, all the things she's posting over there on Instagram. Other than that, if you like today's episode, you like any of my other content, like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review. I'd greatly appreciate it. It definitely helps the show. But if you don't decide to do that, that's totally fine too, because I'm going to be here regardless. And with that being said, you know the drill. Question everything.
Question everything.
Stay weird.
Stay weird.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.